Welcome, my fellow adventurers. I just finished playing Comix Zero, an upcoming comic book art style inspired Metroidvania from the developers at Bear Games. Now, when Comix Zero's trailer first came across my screen, it was an instant attention grabber, having being an avid comic book reader growing up. Naturally, nostalgia kicked in. It had the awesome comic book flair, just enough snippets of combat to pique curiosity, and some unique cutscenes. And so, here are my thoughts. Let's begin with the combat, which was a mixed bag. For one, I love the variety of attacks at your disposal. You had your weapon attack, your fist and kick strikes, all whom come with their own combo, and all really satisfying to see play out. But you couldn't chain alternate attacks. For example, a weapon attack couldn't be followed up by a fist or kick, and vice versa, making it feel like a cheap button mash and also taking away from its overall combat. Also, being a platformer, you also had a dash and a double jump, but it felt like you had little control over how precise you can be. This is especially important because the platforming in the game requires precision, and not doing so would usually result in taking unnecessary damage. Additionally, you can also block attacks and find items in the comic world that can heal you, while other items can cast fireballs and even allow you to place down a teleporter that will serve as a respawn point and also take you back to the village, which is the game's hub. Final thoughts on the combat is that it still needs a lot of work. Certain things just don't feel smooth. Like when you jump, sometimes it feels like you're falling way faster than the way it takes you to come up. It just feels a little weird. All right, now I'll dig into the village, which is the game's hub. While we didn't get full access to the NPCs, we did get to talk to some of the villagers and more or less get an idea of what they might provide. You have the blacksmith, who more than likely will be able to upgrade your weapons. Now, while our starter weapon is a metal chain, I do know that we will get more. As in the demo, we were able to get a second weapon, and it was a broadsword. Slower than the chains, but stronger. While this wasn't in the demo, I was able to find an image from their Twitter account. Looks like we might get different weapons like axes, spears, and even a trident looking weapon. All of whom come with their standard gray, blue, and gold rarity types. Additionally, it also looks like we might get armor sets. How deep the RPG system runs, it's too early to tell. In the village, you'll also encounter other interesting characters and locations like a shop, a rent sign which might indicate some kind of player housing, a bar, and an art shop that I believe will serve as a place to customize and color your character. Now, guys, we need to talk about the story because what the hell is going on? While the developers are from Ukraine, and I'm sure there are some mistranslations, there's only so far attached the translations could be. Frankly, it feels like it was written by someone who thinks sex jokes and profanity could save the game's terrible storytelling, and it's just a huge letdown. Especially when I appreciated the world building they did. I loved the little details like the way you healed and the way the pencil could come along to color you back, and also the way the character and the enemies lose color when they take damage. And also, the game takes place inside of a comic book. You'll be traversing through comic book pages. One panel is pretty much one room. You'll clear the enemies and then hop over to the next panel, and so on. The developers have said Comix Zero is a tribute to Sega classics like Comix Zone, which is a beat 'em up that follows the comic book writer Sketch Turner as he attempts to escape his own comic book after a thunderstorm causes the comics villain to escape the comic book world and send Turner in his place. Sounds awesome, right? Now, the final question really comes down to, does Comix Zero have potential? And I'd have to say yes. But it all comes down to if they are willing to let the game cook. Because frankly, I do think these issues could be addressed. But let me know what you guys think. Funny enough, I just got back into reading comic books after probably not picking one up over 5 years. I'm currently rereading Nailbiter, which follows a mysterious town that keeps giving birth to serial killers. Then I have just picked up a copy of Something's Killing the Children, and I am currently reading Gears of War comics for the first time because of Gears of War Reloaded. Didn't mean to go on a comic book rant, but if you have any recommendations, I would appreciate them in the comments below. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up to date with our latest adventures. And as always, guys, keep your head up and adventure forward. Peace.